Miss Turner's class. You need help with homework? It's Miss Turner's class. I got you. It's Miss Turner's class. What about if you didn't understand something in class? It's Miss Turner's class. I got you.
Hey you guys, and welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, we're focusing on Module 1, Lesson 7, where we're going to round a number to the thousands place. And this is coming straight from our brand new standard 4.NBT.3. Use place value understanding to round multi-digit whole numbers to any place. Do you guys remember our rounding song? If you remember the lyrics, go ahead and sing along with me. Underline your place value. That's your first endpoint. Wow, look at you. Add one more to fill the top. Then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Plot that number on the number line. Then circle. That number's looking real fine. We're going to be using our rounding song in order to solve several problems today. In our first problem, we have the number 6,700, and they want us to round this number to the nearest thousand. We're actually going to be rounding all of these numbers to the nearest thousand. I know that first step says underline your place value, so I know I'm going to have to underline one of these numbers. If I'm rounding to the nearest thousand, that means I need to underline the number in the thousands place. What number is in the thousands place? Great thinking. 6. The 6 is in the thousands place. That's your first endpoint. Wow, look at you. But it's not just 6. I know that 6 is in the thousands place. So what's the value of that 6? Good job. 6,000. Awesome thinking, you guys. Add one more to fill the top. What's 1,000 more than 6,000? Awesome thinking. 7,000. Then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Now it's time for us to find our midpoint, that middle number right here. I want to find the halfway point between 6,000 and 7,000. If you guys can remember from a previous video, I taught you guys a trick on how to do this. You guys are going to underline your first number all the way until you get to your first 0 in both of your endpoints. So I'm going to underline my 6 and I'm stopping at that first 0. And then I'm going to underline my 7 and I'm stopping at that first 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and plot these two numbers on my new number line. Right now we're looking for our midpoint. So I know my midpoint is right here because it's halfway between these two numbers, 60 and 70. The reason why we're not using the entire number is because we want to make sure we keep those numbers smaller so that they're easier to work with. So now we're looking for the halfway point between 60 and 70. What's halfway between 60 and 70? If you're still not sure, let's go ahead and draw our lines and count 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Yeah, that's right. 65 is our halfway point. It's our midpoint. The last thing we're going to do, you guys, is just go back and add in those zeros that we did not add on our midpoint. So we took away 2 zeros, so we're adding 2 zeros back, and we're also going to be adding those 2 zeros to our midpoint. So our midpoint, you guys, is 6,500. So we're going to go ahead and put that midpoint on our vertical number line. Let's keep working. Add one more to fill the top, then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Plot that number on the number line. Well, here's my number right here, you guys, 6,700. So let's think for a second. Where would 6,700 go on my number line? Would it go before my midpoint? Or would it go after my midpoint? What do you think? Is it less than my midpoint? Or is it more than my midpoint? Yeah, it's more than my midpoint, you guys, because 6,700 is more than 6,500. In fact, 6,700 is about right here. It's about right here. So friends, we're going to go ahead and put 6,700 on our vertical number line. 6,700. Plot that number on the number line, then circle. That number is looking real fine. What endpoint is 6,700 closest to? Is it closest to 6,000 or is it closest to 7,000? Absolutely, it's closest to 7,000. That number is looking real fine, you guys. So that means that 6,700 is about 7,000. Let's try another one. You guys are doing awesome. In this number, we're still rounding to the nearest thousand, and we're rounding 9,340 to the nearest thousand this time. Underline your place value. What number am I underlining if I'm rounding to the thousands? Good job. 9. That's your first endpoint. Wow, look at you. 9 what? That 9 is in the thousands, so what's my bottom endpoint? Good job, 9,000. Add one more to fill the top. 1,000 more than 9,000. What is it? Good job, 10,000. Then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Let's go ahead and use our trick on the side, underlining our first number all the way until we get to our first 0. And you guys will notice that if I underline my first 0 on my top endpoint, I just have the number 10. So in this case, we're going to have to actually underline, just like we did in our previous video, another 0 just so that we have 10 more. Now we're able to go ahead and round and find that midpoint, halfway between 90 and 100. Same as before. If you need help, go ahead and start counting. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. That midpoint is 95. Halfway between 90 and 100 is 95. I took away 2 zeros, so I have to add those 2 zeros back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's my midpoint, you guys. 9,500. Then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Plot that number on the number line. 9,340 is going to go on my number line, you guys. Is it going to go before or after my midpoint? In other words, is 9,340 more or less than my midpoint? Yeah, it's less than my midpoint. In fact, 9,340 is about right here. It's about right here, you guys. 9,340. So is 9,340 closer to 9,000? or 10,000? Absolutely, it's closest to 9,000. So that means that 9,340 is about 9,000. That number's looking real fine. Let's try one more. Underline your place value. I'm still writing to the thousands. What number is in the thousands place in this number? Good job. My 4 is in the thousands place. That's my first endpoint. Wow, look at you. But wait, you guys. Before the number 4, I have a number 3 in the 10,000s place. I need to include that number as well. So I'm going to put 34,000 as my bottom endpoint. Everything else after is still a 0, but I still have to include that 3. What's 1,000 more than 34,000? We're adding one more to fill the top. 1,000 more than 34,000 is? Good job, 35,000. Then find your midpoint. Please don't stop. Same as before, you guys. I'm going to have to find my midpoint by using my trick just in case I struggle with finding my midpoint. So remember, we're going to underline those numbers all the way until we get to our first 0 on both of our endpoints. Then we're going to place those two numbers on our vertical number line. 340, 350. And we're looking for this number right here. 341, 342, 343, 344, 345, 346, 347, 348, 349. And I took away 2 zeros, or I did not include 2 zeros, so I have to bring those 2 zeros back in and even on my midpoint. Don't forget those commas. So my midpoint is 34,500. 34,500. I'm going to rewrite that 34 just so that all friends can be clear of what those two numbers are. Plot that number on the number line. 34,700. Is it more or less than 34,500? Absolutely. It's more. It's actually about right here. 34,700. Is it closer to 34,000 or 35,000? Which endpoint is it closest to? Great job. 35,000. Then circle. That number is looking real fine. So that means, you guys, that 34,700 is about 35,000. Happy learning. I'll see you in the next video.